ledger protocol. So when you start talking government is a centralized institution, and that's where the kind of friction starts to happen. So the education elements, as we heard, is important. Now, interoperability, I think, is one that has not been mentioned yet, and I think you need interoperability because you need to have the digital governance within government to allow that to happen, and not to be scared and trying to put together a solution that fits all, because it doesn't. You need to have that interoperability governance in place that would allow that for the ecosystem to grow and mature. So I would say interoperability with the government mandate is what is needed for the ecosystem to strive. And I'll give you an example of this. So even in Dubai, which is one of the most progressive and blockchain enabled governments globally, they faced an issue. So back in 2016, when they looked at kind of their blockchain strategy and had to implement it within the country, they kind of went about, okay, we're going to, they had Smart Dubai as an entity created, and they gave Smart Dubai the mandate to manage the blockchain strategy for the country. So they went in and took Consensus, which is an Ethereum-based protocol, and took Hyperledger as another protocol for the IBM. Now, that experiment after 2 years failed because there was conflict of interest between the two consortia of Consensus and IBM. Now, if there was more governance and interoperability there, then that potentially could have been more successful. So, this was a real struggle that they had, that the two consortia were fighting each other. And then you have government entities wanting to do their own thing as well. So every government entity would like to manage their own things, like the Ministry of Health or the other entities of the government try to be a little bit autonomous as well. So that's why you need some sort of digital governance on top to mandate them to be able to get the ecosystem working properly.
Thank you. And last but not least, Sharik, what are your top 3 recommendations? You've been part of this ecosystem for actively for the last couple of years. Previously, we have an experience of UAE and some other parts of the world as well. So how do you see it's evolving, and what are your next few tips?
My personal experience I'm going to share in the last 1 year, where we have implemented blockchain implementation, blockchain integration. The thing was, the first challenge is blockchain or the technology awareness and education. This is the first thing. Because many people, they don't know about it. Still, we have met so many IT experts who don't know about the blockchain technology. And I'm talking about the institutions of institutions. Okay, so this is the first thing. So education and awareness is the key. We need to educate and aware the people, specifically who are related to the IT field. It includes the decision makers as well as the students as well as the teachers. Because this is the biggest challenge over here in Pakistan, that we are still educating the students with the 8 to 10 years old technology. Okay, and that's why we are far behind from the rest of the world. And if we are going to do so, and if we have some plan to do this thing, that we need to educate our students with the new technologies, like some universities and colleges, they have taken the initiative. So after the process of the completion of that course or something, we are already far behind of the maturity of that technology with the rest of the world. So it happened with us, and we have always looking for the blockchain developer, but when we couldn't find the way, we have found some other countries. So this is the first thing. Education and awareness is the key, and we need to educate and aware the government as well as the other institutions, including the students and the other organizations too. Like freelance, we have the second largest freelance force in the world after India. Okay, so we need to prepare those people or those freelance developers for the blockchain purposes too. Because if we are going to have such type of competition, and in order to get the projects for the Web3, Okay, because still we are doing Web 2.0. So Web 3.0, if we are going to get some sort of project, then it increase the revenue generation of the country as well. So this is the first thing, education and awareness. The second thing is the training. The training of the government, the training of the institutions is very mandatory, because there are so many confusion, misinterpretation of the blockchain technology. Or I'm not talking about the blockchain technology including the distributed layer technology. We are talking about DLTs, because the implementation of the DLTs is far easier as compared to the blockchain, the whole blockchain from the scratch. So there are private blockchains and public blockchains. So the second one is the training campaign, training programs with the governments and their respected institutions. And the last one is the implementation. The last one, the implemented, like these are the steps we have followed for the implementation of the same thing with one of the largest law enforcement agencies in Pakistan. Okay, we have already trained them, we have already made them awareness, and we have already told them that what they are going to, like how much they are going to secure the data and how much it will cost them as compared to the other infrastructure of the world. So that's how we have implemented. So the last one is implementation. We need to keep each and every decision maker within the POC process, within the pilot project, and within the implementation program. That's how they are going to learn, and then they are going to have their expertise with other institutions, and they will have the word of mouth for the implementation of blockchain in the other parts of the departments of the government. So this is what I have achieved in the last 1 year.
Almost a similar kind of a top 3 recommendations from all 6 of you, and I'm very again thankful for all 6 of you to join us today. Brought a lot of insights about how to build the blockchain ecosystem, shared your own experience in the space, and with that I would like to conclude this panel discussion and announce for our next, and we save the best for the next, and that is the president of BSV Association, Blockchain Association, coming on stage now and expressing a lot of further insights, advanced insight about the BSV and